Hey guys, I'm over here in Champlain. I'm going to start doing the networking stuff, and the goal here is I'm running the NEP2. I want to put the NEP3 hub in, and as much as the the gigabit Ethernet system in as much as I can on my boat. But what I want to do is I want to see if it's worthwhile doing it. I mean, I already have the parts for me, but if I'm going to install a new boat, or maybe you're looking at, maybe you're concerned that your network is not performing very well, your boat's not, it's a little slow to get stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do it in a couple of stages. That way you can figure out if it makes sense in your boat. Okay. Base configuration. This is where I am with the existing NEP2, which is the 100 megabit Ethernet. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is the plan is to replace the hub first, and then replace and actually put a hub in there. What I have for network in my boat, which is a little bit different, which I've never liked. Basically, it's in a star network. All the units are coming back to the hub. Okay, so let me flip the camera around. So all my units come back to the hub. Okay, the S3100 goes straight to the hub, but because I couldn't run another Ethernet cable up through my the boat channel, the tubing, what I did is I hooked the active target 2 and daisy chained that off of my upper Pro unit. That works okay, but I know that the Pro unit is limiting the transfer rate of the data coming off of that. So what I want to do is I want to put a hub in the bow, and I'm going to put a new hub in the console here, and I'm going to run a megabit cable between the two. That way we can see. I think it'll be a much better performance. So what I want to do is I want to do 3 tests. Okay, test number 1, and I'm going to sit here and I can do this in the console. I want to try to measure how long does it take to load a map up from one unit to the other. Okay, 2, how long does it take to see the active target screen on one of the units here. Okay, and then 3, how long does it take to see the S3100? Those are the major 3 data chunks, or lots of data coming on off of those units onto the network. Okay, so I want to see how long that takes. So that's where we're going to go. Okay, I'm getting ready to set up to do the test on the network. Okay, sorry, the map coordinate. So I have on the left unit here, I have the Navionics chip. Okay, you can see it's a little bit different. And on the right, I'm running CMAP. You can see how it's colored up. So what I want to do is I want to try to measure how long it takes to, say, go from, basically switch maps on this unit. So we're going to use that as kind of our base reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up the stopwatch on here. So I got the stopwatch set up. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to Menu, More Options. I'm going to change my map source to the Navionics. So as soon as I do that, I'm going to press this Start button. So let's see if I'm coordinated enough. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now I just started it. So now I'm getting pieces of the maps, and they're already come back. So it's a little less than 6 seconds. We'll try to clip it a little bit better. So I've got the Navionics map on this machine. So now let's just simply look at, if I'm moving around, the data is coming across pretty quick. Okay, so that's kind of normal. So I'm going to clear the cursor. I'm going to just revert back to our base map, see how long that takes. So that was 6 seconds. So I'm going to start this one again. And start. Okay. Okay. And it's definitely quicker going back to the internal map. Okay, so that's our first test. And what I want to do is, the goal is to, once I put the megabit stuff in, see if that's any faster. Okay, so our second test, okay, is to take and set this up, set this screen up. This machine is set to showing the active target on it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press, once I press this lower button, this is the one that hooks me to the active target. So I'm going to press that and the start at the same time. Okay. It didn't take much at all to switch over to it. So now the question is that, am I getting, I mean, it's hard to see with no signal there because I'm sitting in his garage. So that's another test. So the next test is I'm going to sit here and go back to the map page. Okay. And I'm going to take and go to pages. I'm going to go to sidescan. So I want to see how long it takes to get FishReveal. So essentially FishReveal came right in, okay, and it got all the data really, really quick. So that really, what that's telling me is that because this unit is already set that as a source for the side scan, that there's no time lag to get the data. It's already being shipped out and this unit is processing it, even though it's not displaying it, okay? It's processing it. So let's go over this unit, see if there's any difference. So this unit, for its side scan, should be defaulted to, it's defaulted to the 3-in-1, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the source to the FishReveal, okay? So I'm gonna try to do that at the same time. There we go. And you notice it popped in pretty quick too. So what that's telling me is that these units don't seem to be that greatly affected by at least the side scan data. Doesn't seem to be affected. It's affected a little bit by the mapping because you're bringing a lot more data across, okay? Because you got a lot of data points in the maps. So the next test is what I'm going to do is I'm going to crawl under the boat here. I'm going to replace this hub, and then we're going to go from there. All right, this is my Ethernet hub. This is the Net2. So this is the way I have my network hooked up in this boat for basically, this is what's called Star network. But basically everything runs back to a hub. All right, so that's one way to hook it up. I know most of you guys don't use these hubs. I just do that as a general course. That way, if one of the units isn't turned on that happens to be part of your daisy chain, then everything still works. Okay, that's why I like a network hub. So you turn the network hub on, doesn't matter which unit is turned on, you're all good to go. All right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna replace the network hub down here. Let me turn the light back on for you. There we go. How's that? Is that better? Anyway, so the network hub's gonna get replaced. What we're gonna do is we are gonna pull the screws out of here. And actually I'll disconnect the cables first. I'll disconnect the power, which is in this power cable back here. And then we'll go from there. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Just hoping I got all the right tools. Okay, so let me go ahead and start replacing that. It's not gonna be easy. I didn't bring the right camera mount to just leave the camera in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. There's the hub in action. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Let me turn the light off. See if that's any better. There we go. There we go. You can see the lights are now green, but they're also orange or reddish color. And that the orangish will indicate that it's running our gigabit. All right, it's in place. I just have to do a little zip tie action here, but you can see it's mounted up on the board below there. I use the exact same cable as the Net2, which is the power cable right here. Got all the 5 devices connected, all the adapter cables. You can see they're all running. So now we're going to just do our secondary test. Okay, I'm about to start the second test. What I've got now, this is the beginning of the second test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun, I'm going to switch the map over on this right unit to the Navionics map source. I'm going to try to time that, see if that was improved. Again, all I did was I switched to the NEP3 hub from the NEP2 hub. So that's the only difference in the network. So, okay. So let's go and change the map source. So let's go to the menu, hit more options, change our map source to Navionics, and we're going to punch it right now. Okay. So we got Navionics back right then. So that's 4.44 seconds roughly. Okay. See when it comes back and get the grid lines and stuff. So it looks like, so pretty much looks like the other map over here. Just do some map functions here. We're zooming in. This is a qualitative. Does it seem like it's moving faster for me? You know, this is the reef that's out down the lake here, a couple miles. It's panning pretty nice and clear. We'll zoom in some details here. It's zooming pretty fast. So I don't want to say without looking at the timer, but it seems a little bit snappier. So, okay. So now let's come over to the other unit here, and we are going to rerun that timer test, and we are going to switch to our side scan panel. So let me do a start on that. I don't know if you can see the start time, and start. And it came back pretty much immediately. You can see we're rolling down the data. Again, this data was being broadcast as we're just sitting here. And so the unit was picking it up, receiving the data, so there's no time lag at all. So now let's do a piece on the active target. So as soon as I push this button, we'll start the timer back. Okay, and the active target's there. So that was less than second and a half or so. But I'll check the timer. That's just when I press it, it's way off. So all right, well so far I got the new network switch in. The maps seem a little snappier. Hard to tell about the other devices. But what I've got to do now is I've got to go and pull the bow apart, and that's going to be reserved for my next trip up here. So when that one gets done, then I can produce the whole video for you. I've also got to analyze the network trace files to see what they're doing. And it basically, as I say, everything's running on UDP, so everything's broadcast. So these devices are receiving the data. The question is, are they receiving the data any faster? And that's the big question. But from a user perspective, what you're really concerned about, are my maps coming back faster? Are they more responsive? Am I getting my sonar side scan quicker? Am I getting my active target signal better? Because the active target is a lot of data coming across the network. So we're going to be looking at that with the next iteration here. And the next iteration, again, is going to get rid of the daisy chain I have in the network on the bow there, which is constraining the active target module. Okay, we're going to go straight to a hub, and that should fix some. We'll see if there's some improvements. All right, hey, I'm over here. We're just about to put the next stage of this network upgrade in place. The idea is we're going to put the network hub here. I'm going to put that up in the bow, and I'm going to put the two units that are up there and the active target that's mounted in the bow connected to this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out whether we're going to run a 16.5 footer, basically a 5 meter cable, or run the 15 meter cable. I don't know which one I can run. It's going to be marginal with this cable. I really, honestly, like I said in one of the other videos, I really wish they had a 25-foot cable. They don't, which would be, I think, an 8 meter cable. So I hope I don't have to run this one, because I'll have a lot of extra cable. It's a lot of extra weight. So anyway, so we're going to get started on that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the units off on the bow, and then I'll get Will to help me pull this cable through. We're going to do a little pre-measure first to make sure, kind of get an idea of which cable is going to work. All right, so we're pulling the panel off now. I pulled the mounts off. pull the top plate off. Cables are sitting here. I'm just going to pull this panel off. Then I'm going to get in here and see what I need. Actually, I'm going to look and see where I can put this hub. So, okay. All right, valve's coming out. So we can't pull the whole plate off. And it looks like I'm going to have a little issue here. So, okay. So I got two cables here. One is, this is the power cable from my USB port, and that's the active target cable there. So the new NIP3 is in the bow here, and so what we got is we ended up adjusting a few things. We got it screwed in. We got it powered on. The way I got it set up, I got the yellow wire connected to the power wire so that whenever I turn my battery electronics on, that everything's turned on. Turns out the NEP3 only takes a 1 amp fuse. The old NEP2 took a 5 amp fuse, so that's a major difference there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this thing buttoned up. We've already done a test to make sure that the active target, once I turn the boat on, turn the accessory switch on, we can see it on the console unit. So I'm gonna take and button everything back up, and then I'm gonna start running the tests. Okay, all right, I'm working on the console here. I wanted to replace the S3100 module cable, Ethernet cable. I want to go from the old yellow cable to the new M12. And so what I've done, I've popped in this cable. We had to make a slight modification of the cable. The new cables have a little indicator or orientation key. We filed that off so it would fit in the S3100 module. My guess is they used an earlier version of that M12 connector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this yellow cable, which is the old Ethernet, because I'm not using it anymore, and then I'm going to put a cap on it, okay? But if you look in the back here, I've got this 12 turned on. You can see the light flashing. That's a new Ethernet. That lets me know the Ethernet's working. So if we come over to our 12, which is just kind of laying here, you can see we got the 3-in-1 FishReveal hooked in, so we know we're good to go, all right? Hey, we're over here. We got the new network all installed in the boat, okay? So that's the gigabit stuff, and we're just about to run the final tests on it. I will say that this is a little out of sequence. What happened is I recorded all this before, had no sound. We're redoing it, but we have since taken it on the water, and everything is working really good, and it's really snappy, what I call a snappy network. So, and I'm hoping you guys will find that too. So anyway, so what we're going to do, we've got everything on the network here. We've got the units up front networked, and they're powered up and ready to go. Active target's turned on as well. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you what's on the network. So I'm going to come over here, come over to this, come over to our network screen, and go to diagnostics. And you can see in our diagnostics, you can see, let me see, these are our transmit for the NEMA bus. This is UDP. And under UDB, this is our devices, okay? This is I turned the right unit on first this time, so that came in as the master. This display is the left unit, okay? So .47 is the master, which is my console right, and these other two units are my bow units. And what I noticed that these IP addresses always are consistent. And what I believe is they assign these IP addresses with the unit when they're manufactured, okay? They're all on a private network, which is the 169.254 subnet, and so everything below that is all private to Lowrance. So we're going to run this test. This is the first test. I'm going to switch let me switch it back. So I can't do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the map on the right unit from the C map over to the Navionics chip, which is running over there on the left console unit. So go to more options, go to the source, map source. Okay, so I'm going to hit Navionics, and we're going to try to punch them at the same time. Okay, and it's loaded. Okay, so about 4 seconds this time. Okay, or a little less than 4. So that's the first test. What I noticed is that it takes a little bit, it's a little quicker to loading, and also as I'm zooming around, rotating this map around, I'm getting good, quick detail. I mean, that's That's one of the rivers that doesn't have, it's one of the sided rivers that we enjoy fishing in the spring. So if we come over, say, to bigger river systems, okay, you can see it's panning and zooming pretty quick, okay. So we get above the lock here, and you got stuff here, and this is on the main river. Like I say, you can see it zooms in pretty good, okay. So the map is a lot quicker with running this new network style, okay. So that's our first test, okay. Our second test is coming over on the left unit. The first one I want to do is I've got the active target, the S3100 turned on, ready to go. I'm going to switch over to sidescan. So what I want to do is I want to kind of time it and see how long it takes once I punch that sidescan button, okay. So that's the sidescan button here. I'm going to punch that, and I'm going to punch start, okay. And you can see we immediately have data coming through. We're out of water, so you don't really see a whole lot, but it popped through pretty quick, okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to rerun this test back over on the right unit, but what I'm going to do on the right unit is I'm going to switch from my standard, from my internal side scan, okay. It's right now running on this unit. I'm going to switch that from this unit to the S3100 module, and I'm going to do another time on that. So I'm going to set source. I'm going to go with the FishReveal, okay. And I'm going to punch that, boom. And you can see it came back pretty quick. So as soon as that little line changed there, that's when we switched transducers. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of major change difference you'll see on the side scan when it picks the data. But what that's going to let the network do in the future is let you be able to, if they're going to let us increase the scroll rate, so we'll be able to get more data quicker, okay. That scroll rate is pretty much limited to the old network speeds. You don't want to overrun your data sources, okay. So that's our second test. Our third test is I'm going to punch it to an active target screen, okay. And so if we're going to go our quick access key, and I'm going to start that, and active target came back immediately. I mean, immediately picking data. Maybe we might rerun this a little bit on the water, but I think I showed some of the tail end of the video on this that we already have. It's basically very, very quick, because right now I'm not going through a daisy chain from my bow unit, upper bow unit, through the unit, down to the switch, and then back to this unit. Now it's going straight to a network hub, and then it's going into this network hub and then into the unit. So we're not having any delays. It's basically what you see in the network is now there. So that's a lot quicker and a lot snappier. Okay. Yep, we're on the water now, We got the full gigabit network in place. Got the hub up front. We got the hub in the console. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what speed I've gained in the bow here. I'm going to try, first thing I'm going to hook up is I'm going to let the map get shared from the left console unit up to the bow unit. I normally don't do that, but I just want to see how fast it is now. And then the other one will show you the active target. So let's go down. Let me accept these screens. Okay, I hit accept. And you see where it says change the map selection to Navionics. We're going to hit yes here, okay? And bump, 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 bump. And there's the map. That's pretty quick. That's a lot quicker than I remember it being. So that's one test. And again, we're going directly from this hub to the other hub on a gigabit network cable, and then going back into the hub back there into the left console unit, okay? So that's one. So now the next one, we're going to go over to the top unit. This one's already pre-configured to look at the active target. We're just going to hit accept here, and we got the active target signal immediately, okay? So that's a good thing. All right, so anyway, that's this new network on the boat. I feel like there's good improvements in speed, okay? But again, when I get home, I'll look at the network traces and things like that and verify that. But the whole goal is to see, is it worth you doing it to your boat, okay? I know for a fact what I'm going to do right now. The next boat installs I do with networks, I'm going to put the NEP3 in. I'm gonna put everything in with the adapter cables and whatever I need to, and I'm gonna have their boat ready for the next generation of Lowrance equipment that's gonna come out soon. Well, I don't know what soon is. Soon could be a year, soon could be 2 years. Who knows? But anyway, the advantage is you'll be all ready to go. So right now I'm pretty happy with this. We're just gonna run it for a bit and make sure it's stable, but it appears we're gonna be good and stable. So anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. There's gonna be some Amazon affiliate links in the description. If you wanna look at these products, you can go to those links and help out the channel by purchasing something. Okay, I appreciate that as well. So anyway, like the video if you got it. If you got any comments, let me know. And anyway, so I appreciate you and thank you. All right, bye.